Project Veritas strikes again.
Oh yeah, so just look, they're relatively new for one. What do you say?
No, they've been around for years.
About past like
they've been around
10 years.
They've been around since Trump. They started right around the time of Trump.
Oh yeah, but I mean relatively new. They're not a. Meaning like in the past 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Who are they, Shelley?
Project Veritas is a what we would call a new media journalistic endeavor where they go undercover and they capture people admitting things and saying things that they wouldn't normally say.
Are they slanted?
Oh, they definitely go after the left. Okay. Absolutely.
So that's why you're smiling and stuff. This makes you feel...
No. It's just, I just think that these things have been around for the left for many, many years. They've done this before. 60 Minutes, all these outlets for decades have been doing it to the right for many, many years. And so now Project Veritas exists to point out the hypocrisies of the left in a new media.
And they get a lot of stuff. So what are they?
So they had an undercover reporter, Project Veritas, had an undercover reporter speaking to a guy who works for a company called the Teaching Lab. And he's down here as a project manager here in Georgia. And he's admitting, on tape, on hidden camera, he's admitting that he's sold CRT curriculum, critical race theory curriculum, to 2 counties in Georgia, Fulton and Cobb, which is not really a hard thing to do if you know those counties.
That's terrible.
But no, it's not. I mean, it's not like that's
terrible.
That's not a hard sale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You're not really selling when you go to Fulton County and Cobb County and say, hey, I got CRT curriculum. Oh, okay, we'll take it. But one of the clip starts as he says, if you don't say the word critical race theory, you could technically teach it. And I think for me and many others, that is the sentence that causes not the concern, because I'm not really concerned necessarily. As a conservative, I'm not concerned with quote-unquote CRT being taught in our schools. That doesn't really concern me as much as the argument when I get into these debates with my friends on the left who say it's not in school, it's a college theory. Well, no, it is. And this kind of is proof that it is in schools. The curriculum, the thought, the theory, it is being taught in schools.
Not where they want it to go. Not a lot of it's not, Shelley.
No.
And go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, they wanted to go a little bit deeper, and I got to be honest, I'm new. I ignored the whole CRT thing for a while because I didn't feel like studying it. I didn't feel like figuring out whose side I was on. So I'm a novice reading now, catching up on it, and for me, the more I read, the more I say, come on, guys. I think the whole critical race, I think the name is just right off the bat just has a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths who don't even, there are people listening right now who don't want CRT taught in school, and they couldn't even tell you what CRT is going to be teaching because it says critical race theory and it sounds like a boogeyman. It sounds like a monster. So,
but the opposite is true too. There are those who are for it who have no clue what it is either.
And they need to do what I'm doing.
And they say, oh, critical race theory, I'm for that, yay, and they have no idea. That, you know what I mean? So, and no one really knows because it's like he said, if you don't say the word, you could technically teach it. So I mean, I wish they would not. I wish it wasn't a thing that it just sounds scary to some people. And you're right, both sides. There are people on both sides, but I would just encourage our listeners, because we count you as some of the smartest listeners ever. If you made a stand for it or against it, just make sure you know what you're talking about. Don't just be against it because traditionally conservatives and Republicans are against it, and don't just be for it because don't be that person. And if you walk away from it like I'm doing right now, I'm neither for or against it. I'm starting to lean to be for it, but I'm a novice at it. And if you walk away with your same opinion, that's cool, but don't be that person that Shelley and I are talking about. I totally agree with you, my sister. It's one of those things where it's become a political hammer used by both sides to hammer the other side. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, the people who are being most impacted by it are the kids. When you're telling a bunch of white kids in Cobb that their whiteness causes them to be racist or to be oppressors, and you're telling them that in Cobb, and I'm looking at kids in the inner city schools who can't even pass a 3rd grade reading test, and they're in 7th 10th grade, what good is CRT if you can't get past reading and math, basic reading and math? So those are the people being left behind. While these politicians and adults are protesting and yelling at each other across the aisle about this stuff, while people are raising money off of it, while everyone's raising money off of it, while politicians are running on it or against it to get elected, the people being most impacted are kids on both sides of the aisle.
You said something critical. And for those of you who are advocates of CRT, be that you've got to start. You may not like what Shelley just said, but as I continue to study it, if you said to me, Milani Kai, if you want to advocate for CRT or for a better educational system in the let's just say the impoverished or the inner city or those areas, I'll go for that all day. So if you're fighting hard for CRT, the same outcry needs to be made in all of these inner city schools all around the United States of America. You know what I'm talking about the lack of resources, the lack of, it's not qualified teachers. You're just throwing there. I mean, the teachers are there, but you're just piling in students without the resources. Make a big fuss out of that, because like Shelley said, what good is it to know CRT and you can barely read?
Absolutely. What good is it to know that whiteness is evil, but you can't do basic math? Really, that's at the end of the day what this is all about.